So I'm going to wait a few minutes, let the market settle down before I really check my positions. The look back tool for that TastyTrade has.
Okay.
Actually, it's on the Tasty Live website. It's actually not part of Tasty Trade, the platform, yet. I think they're actually going to build this into the platform at some point. But if I did SPY, for example, and let's test something. Let's see how a standard put credit spread would do in SPY if we sold one, say, every 60 days.
Okay.
I'm going to sell a put. Typically, we'll sell the put. Probably needs to be at least around a 35 delta.
Okay.
Put credit spreads, you can't get them too far out of the money, or you're risking too much for too little. And then the long put, we probably need to go at least 5 deltas further. Let me actually see what we can do in SPY. I'll actually put on an example real quick just to see if the deltas make sense. Sold the 35, and let's go $5 wide. It would be a 30 delta. Yeah, it would be exactly 5 deltas lower. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the look back tool here, and we're going to enter the long put at 30, 60 DTE, and we always want to exit early because it always improves your profit if you exit early instead of holding to expiration. So we'll exit at 21 DTE, and we'll also always take the trade off if we make 50%, just to reduce our risk, because all your risk is toward expiration. So if you can get out early, you take off some of the really big losses that you could potentially take.
Okay.
Then if we run this back test, which I already know is going to be good, it's a bullish strategy, and SPY just goes up. Any bullish strategy you put in this on SPY is going to do well. You see our win rate is 85%.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is really fantastic, because what would you expect the win rate on a 35 delta short put to be?
70%.
Right. Well, yeah,
Well,
you would expect it to be 65. Yeah,
65,
but, right.
70.
Yeah, but we're getting 85%. So there's some serious edge here, right? Because these things are being priced. These options are being priced like we have about, like you said, a 70% chance of winning. But we really are winning 85% of the time when we do the back test. You know, so historically it outperforms. So that's a nice little edge.
Yeah.
Profit per trade, we'd make on average $13 per trade.
Okay.
Now, the profit per trade here is going to be low because this back test went from January 1st, 2006 all the way until now.
Oh, okay. And
SPY is trading, it's like $550 right now. What is it? $560. Ooh, wow. So, you know, in 2006, SPY was probably $100. I don't know what the price, it was much lower. If I actually, yes. So that's why the profit per trade, we can't really take it too seriously, because in 2006, if I actually look it up, that was pretty close. It was right around 120 bucks in 2006. So obviously the premiums back then were really low, and that's what's keeping this down. If I didn't go so far back in time to get a more realistic, like SPY has really been above 400 since like 2019, 2020. Let's start in 2020, because let's get COVID in there.
Okay.
Because I don't want to cherry pick. I do want some crashes. I want some, and also all of 2022 was bearish, right? The stock market did nothing but go down in 2022. So this will really put this to the test, because this is a 5-year period, including a year-long bear market plus the COVID crash.
Okay.
Now let's run it. It still looks really good. Win rate of 90%, right?
Yeah. Profit
per trade. Now this is much more realistic what we can expect, because we're using prices for SPY that are very similar to what it's currently trading at. So on average, we're going to make $30 per trade. The average time in the trade, since we're taking profits at 50%, we're only in the trade 15 days. Remember on my naked puts, I told you I probably are in them less than 2 weeks. Now credit spreads work a little longer. They take a look because you got the long option working against you. But still, even in the put credit spread, you're only in it on average about 15, 16 days. You put it on at 60 days, in 15 days, you're taking it off. Right. And then, of course, you can sell another one. Right. So this is just, would be an easy strategy just to do all the time.
So I keep seeing videos on YouTube about make $10,000 a month playing the wheel. I've yet to do that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you're making, we see those you never want to attach dollar amounts to anything.
Yeah.
Like the people on YouTube, they're just trying to get clickbait.
Right.
You can make $10,000 a month using the wheel. If you had a, say, $500,000 account, I bet we could do that pretty easily. Right?
Yeah, that's the only way I've been able to
Right,
make
but
these numbers work. And it's
right,
like, where do they get this stuff from? Because
yeah.
I'm not, I
Because
mean,
it's not as sexy a title if they told you the truth and said, hey, you could make 2% a month on average trading the wheel.
yeah,
Well, that's, people see that, 2%.
it's not really what I'm meant
Well, let me
to,
put a
yeah.
number to it. You can make 10 grand a month. If you had $1 million in your account, you can make 10 grand a month, trading the wheel.
Yeah.
No.
I was wondering if maybe you knew something that I didn't know or I hadn't learned yet. And I'm like, wait a minute, what I keep seeing all these like make $10,000 a month trading the wheel. Like, dude,
No.
I've not come nowhere near close to that.
No.
So,
And you really, most of the time, if you're trading responsibly, you're probably on average going to make 2, maybe 3% a month. If we're talking about monthly dollar amounts.
yeah, that makes sense. Cause I was just trying to figure out like, how do you,
Yeah.
because my mind works like, because I'm a content creator. So I've got cash flow coming in. And so I'm like, wait a minute, these guys are making 10K a month.
No, that's not necessarily the case. Those guys are just making it's
Videos,
like
yeah.
yeah, they're just making content with video content and with print content, articles and blogs and things. People
Right.
have to catch your attention with a title.
Yeah, but they're lying.
And with financial content, unfortunately, the way to get people's attention is to put a dollar amount on those thumbnails, even if the dollar amount is something ridiculous, like make $1 million using this strategy. Right? It's like, okay.
I know. It just gets to me because I have learned now that is, unless you've got, like you said, a $500,000 account and you can will the spy like they're teaching.
Yeah, you could easily make that wheeling spy, for example, if you had a large account and you had some shares of spy.
But I can't believe the number of people that fall for it that think that they can make 10,000 a month off of a $20,000 account. And
no, you can't do. You can do that, but you would basically have to risk your entire account.
Yeah.
And on a low probability trade, meaning it's a trade that almost certainly is you're going to lose like 90% of the time, but the 10% of the time you get lucky, you turn 20,000 into 30,000. But 90% of the time you would have turned 20,000 into zero, right? So is that worth it?
No.
No, it's not, because in the end, what are you going to do now? If you got lucky, you rolled the dice, you turned 20,000 into 30,000. Well, now what are you going to do?
You're probably
well, now I've got 30,000. Let me roll the dice. You're going to keep rolling the dice typically until you crap out. Right? Is what's going to happen. That's the Wall Street Bets crowd, right? It's like that guy on Wall Street Bets, the really crazy one I saw that time that took $50,000 and turned it into $5 million and then lost it all. I mean, initially, I think he turned the 50,000 into like 300,000. It's like at that point, man, go put $300,000 into SPY, come back in 20 years. That's going to probably be, typically, that's going to be at least 6 to 7 times your money. So if it was 7 times his money in 20 years, that $300,000 is going to be $2.1 million.
Yeah.
And just put that shit away and come back to it in 20 years.
Yeah.
You're already set. You have nothing else to do at that point.
Right.
You've kind of, made your little nest egg, but he kept risking it. Yeah. And ultimately you want to do things that in the long run, you have a positive expectancy, you're going to come out ahead if you just stick to the plan. The people that are doing the Wall Street Bet stuff, that's not, in the end, you're going to lose. If I go back to, change my screen again. So we know things like a put credit spread or certainly a naked put in SPY would definitely work better, but you'd have to have a big account for that. But these put credit spreads, we know they're going to win. So why not just put them on all the dang time, right? That's just free money practically. But let's do a Wall Street Bets kind of play.
Okay.
Let's do
something on GameStop because it's like $21 and everybody's probably betting it's going to go up.
Yeah. I mean, everybody in GameStop is probably long. Let's be real.
Exactly. Yeah.
So all we're going to do is buy And let's do it right at the money. A 50 delta call.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? Let's be real. They're selling weeklies. So let's do 7 DTE.
Okay.
They're playing the weekly options. And they're probably not taking profits. That's not what the Wall Street bets crowd do. They're letting it go to expiration. So we're going to buy the at the money call in GameStop, 7 DTE, and we're going to run it from 2020 to 2024. So that's going to get the spike, right, that GameStop had. You still don't come out ahead.
That explains why I never have been able to make money.
Yeah. Yep. And 2020, wasn't that the year?
2021, actually January 2021. Yeah.
2021 was when it went from like $3 to 80 or whatever the hell it was. So even that, capturing that period, you still don't come out ahead doing this.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you don't, not only do you not come out ahead, I mean, these numbers are terrible. You lose $117 per trade on average.
Yeah.
Right? So
that explains why I've never made money playing long positions. Because
I mean, these are horrible numbers. I mean, these are just profit per trade was, negative 117. Look at profit per day. Every day you're in this trade, you lose on average $17 every day. This is obviously negative expectancy. You're almost guaranteed to lose if you do this enough. Right?
Yeah.
Now, what if you had instead done something a little smarter, like a short options trade? I'm going to sell the 20 delta put every 60 days over the same time period. Let's also exit at 21 DTE and exit at 50% max profit. Now, I don't know what the numbers are, but I guarantee you these numbers are going to be significantly better than that long call.
Absolutely. Look at that. I'd take that any day.
I mean, there you go. That's why we sell options mainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.